Hello everyone, my name is Masood. You can call me Dr. M, and today I'd like to talk to you about making PowerPoints that are effective. So this is the outline that I'm going to be covering. We will go through each one by one. The first thing is that your first slide is called the cover slide, and it should contain some basic information about you. This basic information is the topic of your presentation, the title of your presentation, your name, your title, the date, and any other information that you think would be helpful to the audience and it's easy to catch. So it should be short and simple. Right, so like this one, this is my first slide, making PowerPoint slides. This is the date, and this is my name. The second slide should talk about your purpose, and the purpose is one sentence statement, and it should say purpose. And for example, in this case, the purpose of this presentation currently is to provide guidelines for better visual aid or PowerPoint visual aid. Now, what's the purpose should tell the audience is that why are they listening to you? So the reason for this purpose is that the good visual aid can help you talk less in front of the audience and let audience be more focused on the visual, because if the visual is entertaining, the audience will enjoy and learn from it better, because we are visual creatures and we don't really listen very well, and we really don't like to read nowadays. And so here are some do's and don'ts about making a PowerPoint. The fourth slide, it should be your outline of your presentation. So this is like the outline of my presentation. Usually we have 1, 2, 3, or 4 points. You can have some subcategories depending on how long is your presentation. All right, so when you make an outline, make sure that you follow the order of the outline. So for example, if you said the first after outline would be the slide structure, then there should be outline and then a slide structure, as you can see, right? So in the outline, as you can see, we are not writing stories. They are very short words, phrases for sure, and very short, just attention getting enough, and gives the audience some idea in the next 4, 5, 10, 20 minutes what are they going to be listening to. All right, and so use no more than 4 words. Please pay attention to these numbers and make a note of them as you go along. When you prepare your presentation, it will help, and then after that it becomes part of your natural way of making presentation. So this is like a good structure, and you need to make sure that you use about 3 to 6 slides. So each of these is 1 slide per minute of your presentation. So if you have a 20-minute presentation, right, you need to think of about 60 to 100 slides for your presentation. You may think, wow, this is too much. But I will later in another video I would show you examples, because you see, we need to make the audience entertained, and we are entertained as long as we see some visual moving, right? That's why we write movies better than books, because in a book is always one page with a lot of words in it, but the movies are moving. And so when we say like 100 slides may seem like a lot, but as I will show you some sample of good slide, is that when you're talking, these slides are moving. So it's just like sort of like people are constantly intrigued and entertained. Write in the point format, not complete sentences. So that's another important point. Avoid any wordiness. So avoid wordiness in your PowerPoint. And again, another number, include 4 to 5 points per slide. 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet form, or maybe 5. All right. And use some keywords and phrases again, not complete sentences. Okay. So this obviously is a very bad slide because it's like a paragraph of some book, and the audience, as the audience, when you look at this, you don't know where to look. You don't know what to pay attention to, and nobody wants to read so many words. All right. And so you could also show your points a step at a time. And remember, again, another number here, no more than 6 words in a line, and no more than 6 lines in a slide. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 2 points, right? So points would mean the bullet point, and the lines, maybe 1 bullet point can have 2 lines, right? And you can show 1 point at a time, like I said, to help the audience concentrate on one thing at a time. Or you could do the whole thing. Now, avoid any kind of distracting sound effect, just like you heard, or distracting sound effect, or distracting animation. And be consistent with the animation or any kind of a color coding that you are using. So avoid any of those problems. Now, as far as the font is concerned, use at least font size that looks like this. Now, I used to say 28 point, but in different software, like when you do this online or in the Google Meet, Google 365 Microsoft, things are a little bit different when you do it online, when you do it in Canvas. So it has to be big enough. And if you pay attention to how many words per line and how many lines per page, then your font size should be all right. Use a different font size for the main points, and then the secondary point can have a smaller font size. So this is the main point, this is the secondary point. And I suggest you use a standard type of font, like Times New Roman, Arial, or anything like that, that every computer has it. If you use a fancy one, then you better convert it to a PDF file, because when you come from one computer to another, that font may not be available or may be changed, right? And so you can see this is a very, very small font, and so it's not useful to us to write like this. You should not capitalize your words, and do it when is necessary, because it's difficult to read the capital. And don't use any kind of complicated font. Now, color is important. Use the color that, first of all, the foreground color contrasts sharply with the background. So if the foreground is dark green, dark or black, the background should be white or very light background. All right. Use the color that reinforced some kind of logic if you want to use it. For example, in this presentation, I don't know if you have noticed, but when we talk about things that you should not do, is red, and that started from the beginning, and the things that you should do is in green. All right, so use the color to emphasize a point, but use it on the would use it consistently and when needed. So using colors that do not contrast well is going to have problem, especially you put it on a projector, the resolution is lower and people cannot read it. And if you keep just using different colors for the sake of pretty, it's not going to help. You can see here, for example, this last line has, every word has different color, which it takes time to do it. I know because I did it. And so, however, it's no use. Now, here is again good background, a simple background, dark or light, but not complicated background, something that is attractive and simple. I suggest a background that is light because psychologically the light background is more encouraging and is a happier feeling. But if your presentation is to convey some sad message or some depressing message, then of course maybe darker background is better. Use the same background for the whole presentation unless there is some purpose that you need to use a different background or different slide design. Do not keep changing your slide design from one to another for no good reason. And so if the background is too many colors and you have distracting sound effects, this is going to be very difficult to read it. So do not use complicated background and distracting sound effects. Even sometimes I scare myself. All right, as far as the graphs, it's a good idea to use the graphs. Data is much better to be shown in the graph. Trends are easier to show in the graph. All right, always have a title for your graph. Right, so if you have something like this you want to present, it will be very difficult to go through this and one by one read the numbers and explain, and plus people would get bored. You can easily put that in a graph, and you're talking about the red balls and blue balls, how many have been sold in which year, and you can see which months. And so easily you can take a look at this graph bar chart and you can know which month we sold the most number of blue balls and which month. For example, red balls were sold more than blue balls. It's not a good graph because it has all the bar lines, the numbers are too small, the captions, and we don't have a title. All right, so we move to our picture. It's good to use a picture. I suggest that you use pictures in every slide, and the picture should help your presentation. In other words, the picture should be related to that slide. All right, and you do not use flashy clips or arts that is moving, some kind of clip art that is moving or dancing or something that is distracting. All right, make sure that your pictures do not cover your writing. So if you have a combination of picture and a slide, so make sure that they stay in two different sides. If your picture comes and covers your writing, then you defeat the purpose of the writing. You maybe just as well have the picture if you don't know what's in it. And then also you have to make sure that you don't put too many pictures in one slide at the same time. Now the pictures maybe come and go, and that's all right. Do not use the picture as the background because also would be difficult to read, right? And so all of this is a very easy instruction, but it really can make a difference in your PowerPoint design. About the spelling and the grammar, you need to make sure you check it. Of course, Microsoft PowerPoint can check that for you, like spelling mistakes or repeated words, right, or grammar mistakes that you might have made, not make. All right, English is not your first language, so I strongly suggest you give this to someone else to read it. Even though your English is your first language, we do not see our own mistakes most of the time in life. We are good at finding mistakes about other people, but we seldom look inside for our own faults. Now, you do have to have another slide that says conclusion. This is a slide that is required. And this conclusion should be very effective and strong, because the audience most likely will remember the very first thing and the very last thing that you told them. So if you have a very good introduction and very good conclusion, actually you have 50% of your presentation made for you, and they usually don't take more than 2 minutes of any presentation. Use the presentation to summarize your point or suggest some kind of future actions. If there is going to be, if you promise the audience there is going to be a Q&A session, then there should be a slide that says question time. And then at the end of your presentation, you let the audience be asking you questions. Invite the audience to ask questions, because this is going to help clarify some of the points that maybe the audience did not quite understand. In any case, avoid ending your presentation abruptly. Don't suddenly finish and go sit down, right? Make sure there is a conclusion. Maybe make sure you do thank the audience, and then elegantly go back to your seat. All right, so that's basically all I have for you in making PowerPoints. I hope this instruction can help you create better PowerPoints. I will also have some examples for you to see in another presentation.
Hello, my name is Alexis, and today we're going to talk about my role model, who is Mother Teresa, and we're going to explore her extraordinary life and legacy about this incredible woman. So, have you ever think of helping someone unconditionally, or like, what drives you want to help someone? Is it because of love? Is it because you just want to help? So today we're going to see the bright side of the humanity. So there will be 6 portions of today's presentation. There will be introduction, early life and background, achievements and contributions, personal philosophy, and my reflections, and then conclusion. So now let's talk about Mother Teresa. She was born in August 16th, 1910, in a small town called Skopje in North Macedonia. And she was just like all of us, grown up in a very kind and loving family. But what makes her so special is when she was 18, she joined a religious group called the Sisters of the Loreto, and she became a nun. And a year after that, she was assigned to India. And then where she saw people dying on the streets, that motivated her to help the people that are suffering. And now let's talk about her achievements and contribution. So she started the concept of medical care and hospice in India, that the terminally illness can receive a very full care and a very loving care in their final days. And she also used her international influence, and that motivated people, countless people across the world, and to help to fight with the poverty, illness, and hardships. Now she also received her very own Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, and she used the platform to advocating for the rights of the poor and marginalized. Now let's talk about her personal philosophy and ideals. She emphasized the concept of love. She believes in loving and serving people no matter of their ethnicity, social backgrounds, or social status. She also emphasized the importance of showing compassion towards those who are suffering. So she helps so many people unconditionally and with a very huge kind of love. And also, she lived a life of selflessness. She dedicated her entire life to help people and without seeking any personal gains, which is why I admire her so much. And also, her primary thing was to serve the poor. She offered them medical care and food and shelters and so much more. And now let's talk about my personal reflections. I deeply admire Mother Teresa, and she is one of the main reasons why I chose to major in nursing. And I want to follow her steps to help the sick and the illness. Maybe one day we will able to help so many people around the globe. And seeing her helping others without seeking any personal gains shows the highest ideal of charity. Now let's talk about the conclusion. Here's one of my most favorite quote from Mother Teresa. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. So that says that we can do things with, she emphasized the concept of doing small things with great love. So if you feel like helping someone or doing something, just do it, because you never know that something means nothing to you could be everything to them. So that is all of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Today I would like to introduce my personal star graphic designer. And this is a security to bring me to the design world. And my purpose is to let audience know design can bring the balance to the world, and use design to bring balance to the world is a more important thing to the designer. And also I want to share how I was inspired by this designer. And this is my outline. First, I will make a simple introduction of his early life and background. And second is his achievement and contribution. And also, I will share my personal reflection, and final is conclusion. So, before starting, I want to ask a question. Do you know that design goes from complex to simple? I think that is an important question to every designer. And the name of this designer is Iko Tanaka. He is a Japanese graphic designer, and his design style is to use geometric figures to form a picture, and use some simple design concepts to build a brand. And this is his early life and background. So he is born in a small village called Narashi in Japan, and he loves nature and cares about social issues. Also, faced with his poor family, he developed resilient character and sensitivity to social justice. After beginning to involve with environmental group as a teenager, he started to pursuing environmental protection and social justice. And I think his philosophy is the most important thing of his design concept. The philosophy of his life is live in harmony with nature and practice sustainable development. Tanaka believe human must coexist with nature. This is most important thing with human. And instead of destroying and exploiting it, he demonstrates these concepts through his action. For example, like water conservation and use of green energy. And also, he wants more people know about his design concepts. He built a well-known brand called Muji. You can see in every department store. And Muji has 4 major characteristics. First is simple design philosophy. Second is price transparency. And most important is use environmentally friendly materials. And also the final is life conscious. In fact, this brand is combine the environmental protection with human life, and it is why Tanaka Eco wants everybody to know this is the most important thing with human. He wants to make a stronger relationship with nature and the human. And I want to share my personal reflection and why I want to study graphic design. When I am studying graphic design, the common thing I heard is that design goes complex to simple. Every designer must know about how to use design to coexist with the world. And I think Iko Tanaka's design work perfectly convey this concept. So I'm grateful to know him, and he gave me many directions. And after appreciating Tanaka's works, I create a poster. And the theme of this poster is air pollution. It is combine the concepts of environmental protection, and I want to tell everybody the nature and we are related to each other. This is the most important thing we live in the world. And this is my conclusion. I think the importance of practicing sustainable development is a human issue and also applies in every industry. I think I can use the graphic design power to change the world, and I'm so grateful to know this designer. I can use the graphic design to change the world and show how I will use design to protect the nature or the human. And thank you for your attention.
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine, and today I would like to tell you one figure that I admire the most. And yes, it's Indonesia's second president is Mr. Joko Widodo. The purpose of my presentation is to admire his Jokowi character, to keep hardworking and humble, even though many people trying to drag him down. Into this presentation, there will be 5 points that I'm going to talk. The first one is his early life, the second one is his achievement and contribution, the third one is personal philosophy, the fourth one is personal reflection, and the last one is the conclusion. Before I start my presentation, I would like to ask everyone, in your home country, how long a president can serve? 2 years or maybe 3 years?
4.
Or 4. So in Indonesia, a president can serve for 5 years and may be re-elected for 1 additional term. And now Mr. Joko is on his last year of serving because we already elected a new president and only a few months left, and here is the new president. And Joko Widodo, or known as Jokowi, he is also known as Indonesia's Barack Obama. So let's talk more about his early life and what shaped his political vision. So Jokowi was born in Surakarta, Solo in Central Java in 1961. And he graduated from Gajah Mada University in 1985 and married his wife Iriana a year later. He worked hard as a carpenter and furniture exporter before he entered the world of politics. Here are some achievement and contribution of Mr. Jokowi. So Jokowi won election as a mayor of his hometown of Solo in 2005 and again in 2010. His management style is famously open. He opened for critics, for suggestion from the publics. Also in Solo that he began his trademark, it's called Blusukan. So Blusukan is an impromptu visits to the community and sudden appearance in a government office to check on their operation. Like this. And then in 2012, he is being elected as Jakarta's governor, but many people critics the choice of his deputy, Basuki Cahayapurnama, or known as Ahok, because he is Chinese Indonesian and also Christian. But despite, they both prove that they can change Jakarta as a better city. And then Jokowi won election as Indonesia's president on 2014 and again in 2019. But the same, people still not trust him because his lack of political experience both in national and international. But with 10 years of serving Indonesia, he proved that even many people not trust him, but he can prove that he can change Indonesia to be a better country. So he just show with his action and not speaking too much. So here are some personal philosophy or ideas. So Jokowi's big ideas was making Indonesia better, and he proved that he can change Indonesia as a better country. And then Jokowi is probably the cleanest Indonesian president ever, and he just living simple and nothing luxurious. He just living like this. And then here are my personal reflection. I admire Jokowi because he's still working so hard from day to night to ensure the smooth development of the country. Even many people still not trust him or still trying to track him down, but he's still working so hard to ensure the smooth development. And then I admire him so much because as a leader of a country, but he is so humble to small people like us. And then the conclusion, Jokowi is a very, very great leader. And from him, we can also learn to keep hardworking and humble, even though many people not trust you or trying to track you down. Just keep hardworking and people will see the result by themselves. Thank you.